best Vikings games I've ever seen. I'm sure my good friend Matt Burke would agree. Odd, because last week, I had my biggest butt cheek clench of all time late in the second half of that game where my butt just, And this week, after about the middle of the second quarter, was the opposite. Like, every sphincter in my body turned as limp as, like, Aaron Rodgers in the NFC Championship game.
Gentlemen, please rest your sphincters.
I'm still kind of like a big piece of jello. So Mike Zimmer finally beat Russell Wilson.
We represent the lollipop kill, the lollipop kill.
Why can't it always be like this? Well, you can't always face a defense that puts up that little resistance. One of the reasons this can't happen every week for the Vikings is you look around the league. You look at Baltimore. Game on the line, 66 yards. There's no question Justin Tucker is kicking it on the screws between the uprights. Can it get there? And it gets there by an inch. You know you're going to get his best kick. And then you look at Green Bay, Mason Crosby, and it's like a 50-plus yard kick. And the announcer's just like, well, this is Mason Crosby. He's going to make it. And guess what? He made it. Just on the screws. That's why this can't happen every week for the Vikings, because they don't have guys at those positions who are reliable. Greg Joseph had a good game, but let's see how he does with the game on the line next time. And you also think about what could be with this team, because everybody talks about Kirk Cousins and how much money he's making. Kirk Cousins, the guy who's thrown like 38 touchdowns and no interceptions this year. So much waste on this roster that isn't Kirk Cousins. Anthony Barr.
Anthony Barr wants no part of Josh Allen.
Not even playing. Patrick Peterson, not really playing. Anthony Barr.
Out of the backfield.
Harrison Smith, getting burned as usual. Conklin catching everything in sight, yet Irv Smith can't get on the field. Anthony Barr.
Yeah, Anthony Barr, he was the spy.
And my main concern with the Vikings, you cannot be a winning team, top-line team, with Mackenzie freaking Alexander getting regular time. This guy is such a turd.
Mr. Reynolds has apparently changed his name to Turd Ferguson.
Yeah, that's right. Turd Ferguson. It's a funny name.
He was blitzing, and he's got just a free shot at Russell Wilson. Russell fakes the handoff to the running back, and Mackenzie just goes straight for the running back. The running back who's running into a pile of purple jerseys. All you have to be concerned about is...
The lollipop kill.
That's the guy. That is the guy. You make sure he doesn't escape, that he can't throw the ball to somebody who's wide open downfield. I mean, that you cannot fix someone that stupid. And you can't have a guy like that on your team. And he left and came back. We brought him back. How sad are we? There's going to be issues with the offense too, because Seattle had no defense at all. I mean, they were inviting us to just march down the field on every drive, and somehow we couldn't put up a single touchdown in the second half. You know why? Because Mike Zimmer's goal is never to score. Mike Zimmer's goal is always to run clock. The Vikings had the ball for like 48 minutes in the second half, and they had 9 points. You know how much a touchdown's worth? 6 points for the Vikings, 7 points for every other team, okay? 9 versus 6 or 9 versus 7, that's not much difference. You get one good drive with one touchdown, that's worth almost as much as 3 field goals. There's no reason the Vikings couldn't have had 2 touchdowns at least in that second half, but they didn't try. And because of that, you give Russell Wilson the chance to throw this moonshot pass to his receiver in the end zone that if Harrison Smith isn't luckily there a second early to knock it out. It's a 6-point game with over 2 minutes left, and then we got to sweat a little. And I think they were lucky to convert a lot of third downs. Cousins was just throwing a lot of dimes on third down to keep drives alive, and Seattle just wasn't covering people a lot of the time. Mike Zimmer offense is always predicated on picking up third downs, and you're not going to pick up as many third downs in the future. You're going to punt more. You're not going to keep these drives alive. You're going to give the ball back to the opposing offense. Boy, did we win or lose? Cousins was really good, though. I mean, you see what Kirk Cousins can be when you call plays with authority, with a purpose. When you do play action, you play action to one side, play action to the other side. And some throws under pressure he made were just incredible.
Seahawks bring in some heat. Cousins in some trouble, floats it over the middle, and it's Osborne!
Better than what Russell Wilson was doing under pressure.
We represent the lollipop kill.
But Russell Wilson's the greatest thing ever. Anyway, our awards for this week, the near spit take of the week.
The Vikings have allowed 24 points inside the 2-minute warning in the first half of their 2 games this year.
And I remember the 10 points from the Arizona game, and I was thinking back, they allowed 14 points in the final 2 minutes of the first half of the Cincinnati game. Yes, they did! It's unbelievable how easily they could be 3-0 if they had a coach who didn't just mismanage the clock so horribly at the end of the first half every game.
What the hell is this stuff?
Gasoline.
This leads into another award, the moment Mike Zimmer's nipples were as hard as diamonds award. I mean, end of that first half when they were just controlling the ball and running the clock out. I mean, and then extending into the second half with them, these long drives, ending in field goals. All of that was Mike Zimmer's nipples. Just the number one ranked 1980s Vikings defense not covering Jerry Rice award for just not covering the opposing team's best receiver. One candidate was the Seahawks. I mean, really most of the game, just not covering anybody, but there was one particular pass where Jefferson was just running down the middle of the field just completely alone. The winner, of course, we have to go to a different game, was the Packers 49ers game, the final drive, like 30 seconds left. And you know, of course, what are they going to do with 30 seconds left? What are they going to do? I'll tell you what they're going to do. They're going to not cover Davante Adams. Because everybody knows Aaron Rodgers is going to throw to Davante Adams. So we are not going to cover him. We're going to let him just find a soft spot, sit down. The ref thought it was Aaron Rodgers' award, goes to late in the second half. Griffin was chasing Russell Wilson out of the pocket. Wilson threw it away, and like an eighth of a second later, Griffin just kind of gave him a little tap, 15 yards. Personal foul, roughing the passer. Just the most garbage call. Same old Kirk Cousins award, that goes to Kirk Cousins. Early in the first half, his shoe-like half came off, and it was a third down play, and rather than call timeout, he just takes his shoe and throws it behind him, kind of gives up on the play. Just does this dump-off pass that had no chance of working. He basically seeded a punt when the Vikings needed a first down. And so it's like, oh, he had a great game, yeah, but that's a part of Kirk Cousins you cannot get rid of. And you just can't overcome in the long run. Throws away a drive because his shoe half came off. It's the first half. You can use a timeout. The Patrick Peterson Award for completely poor effort. I think this is the third straight week Patrick Peterson wins this. There were a couple plays. I think there was a third down early where he just didn't even try. And then I think there was a touchdown where it was just his typical, like, can we get him some iced tea and a chair to sit in while he's out there maybe? The better to be lucky than good award goes to Harrison Smith, who he and Xavier Woods just let the Seahawks receiver just get behind them in the end zone all alone on that critical play late in the game that could have gotten Seattle back in the game. And if he got there a little more early, it would have 100% been pass interference. If he'd gotten there a little later, it would have 100% been a touchdown. So either way, it would have been a touchdown if he hadn't luckily got there at the perfect time because he was not looking for the ball. And what did we give him? An extra $800 million? The P.J. Fleck Award for just great fundamentals. That goes to the Vikings defense, who at the end of the first half, I mean, we saw them last week miss about 12 tackles on the kind of final offensive play of the first half that led to that Matt Prater field goal. This week, only one blatantly missed tackle on that final big play of the first half. That's really showing progress. If they can just only have one egregiously missed tackle per play going forward, I think good things are in store for them. Cleveland Browns. What I think will happen, the Vikings controlled the clock so well the last 40 minutes of this game. Mike Zimmer's going to go all in on controlling the clock, and that's going to kill our offense. It's going to kill our mojo. It's going to kill Kirk Cousins. It's just not going to go well. So I don't see us continuing with playing with purpose. Our purpose is going to be run clock, and that's just, it's not a winning strategy long term.